Hi, I'm Lucille. I'm 53 years old, and for the past 28 years, I've been the chief financial officer at Henderson and Associates, one of the largest accounting firms in the state. I've worked hard to build my career, my reputation, and my financial independence. My late husband, James, passed away 8 years ago, and since then, I've focused on my work and supporting my son Marcus as he built his own life. Mom, I'm so glad you could make it to dinner tonight, Marcus said, greeting me at the door of his suburban home. He was 30 years old, successful in his own right as a software engineer. Of course, sweetheart, I wouldn't miss it, I replied, hugging him tight. Vanessa, his wife of 2 years, appeared behind him. Lucille, come in, come in. Thank you, Vanessa. Something smells wonderful, I said, stepping inside. Oh, it's just pasta. Nothing fancy, Vanessa said with a tight smile. Marcus, can you help me in the kitchen for a second? I settled into the living room, noticing the new furniture. Everything looked expensive. Very expensive. At dinner, Marcus seemed distracted. Mom, how's work going? Still keeping those spreadsheets in line? Business is booming, actually. We just signed 3 new corporate clients this month. The board even discussed expanding my team, I said, cutting into my pasta. Vanessa's fork clattered against her plate. That's great. Must be exhausting, though, at your age. At my age? I raised an eyebrow. I'm 53, not 93, dear. I just meant, maybe it's time to think about slowing down, retiring early, enjoying life, Vanessa said quickly. Marcus frowned. Van, Mom loves her job. She's not ready to retire. I'm just saying there's no shame in taking it easy. Living a simpler life, Vanessa continued, her voice taking on an odd tone. I live quite comfortably, thank you, I said, studying her face. The conversation shifted, but something felt off. Over dessert, Vanessa's phone buzzed repeatedly. Sorry, it's my mom. She's been calling all day, Vanessa said, glancing at the screen nervously. Is everything all right with Patricia? I asked. Oh, yes. She just worries. You know how mothers are. Vanessa laughed awkwardly. She and Dad have been asking about you, actually. Really? That's sweet. I should call them soon, I said. No! Vanessa nearly shouted, then composed herself. I mean, they're traveling, very busy. Maybe later. Marcus looked at his wife strangely. Van, they're not traveling. Your dad called me yesterday from their house. Vanessa's face flushed. Right, yes. I meant they're busy planning a trip. I'll let them know you asked about them, Lucille. The evening ended shortly after. As I drove home, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The next morning, my phone rang at 7. It was Marcus, and he sounded panicked. Mom, I need to talk to you right now. Marcus, what's wrong? Are you hurt? No, Mom, Vanessa's parents just called me. They want to help you. They said they heard you lost your job and you're struggling financially. My blood ran cold. What? They said Vanessa told them you've been unemployed for months, that you're too embarrassed to ask for help. They want to set up a fund for you, Mom. They're talking about charity. Marcus, I need you to listen to me very carefully. I am the CFO of Henderson and Associates. I make over $300,000 a year. I have never been unemployed, not once in 28 years. Silence. Then, what did you just say? Your wife lied to her parents. The question is, why? An hour later, Marcus was at my downtown condo. He stood in my living room, looking around at the expensive furniture, the original artwork, the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Mom, I don't understand. Why would she lie about this? Sit down, Marcus. We need to figure this out together, I said, gesturing to the couch. He collapsed onto it, running his hands through his hair. Her parents were so concerned. Robert, he was talking about setting up a trust fund. Patricia was crying on the phone about how tragic it was that you'd fallen on hard times. And Vanessa never corrected them? Apparently, she's been telling them this for months. They think you're living in some tiny apartment, barely scraping by. I pulled out my phone. I'm calling Diana. She's my colleague, and she's good at getting to the bottom of things. Diana arrived within 30 minutes. She was my age, sharp as a tack, and had been my friend since we started at the firm together. "Lucille, Marcus," she greeted us. "Tell me everything." Marcus repeated the story. Diana listened, her expression growing darker. "Have Vanessa's parents given her money recently?" Diana asked. Marcus's face went pale. She said her parents gifted us $50,000 for home renovations last month. Did you need home renovations? No, I make good money. We didn't need their help. But Vanessa said they insisted that they wanted to help us get ahead. Diana leaned forward. "Marcus, I think your wife has been running a con. She tells her parents that Lucille is destitute, probably plays up how difficult it is for you to support both your household and help your poor, unemployed mother. Wealthy parents feel guilty, send money to help, money that Vanessa pockets." "That's insane," Marcus whispered. "Is it? New furniture, new car, that expensive vacation she booked? Where did that money come from?" Diana pressed. I thought we were just managing our money well." I placed my hand on my son's shoulder. "We need proof. We need to talk to Patricia and Robert." An hour later, we sat in the living room of Vanessa's parents' estate. Patricia, an elegant woman in her 60s, poured tea with shaking hands. Robert, tall and stern, stood by the fireplace. "Lucille, we had no idea," Patricia began, her voice thick with emotion. "When Vanessa told us you'd lost everything, that you were too proud to ask for help." "Patricia, I need you to tell me exactly what Vanessa said," I interrupted gently. Robert cleared his throat. "She said you'd been fired from your job 6 months ago, that you'd depleted your savings, that you were living in a studio apartment in a bad neighborhood and could barely afford groceries." "She showed us pictures," Patricia added, "of some rundown building. She said that's where you lived now." Marcus shot up from his seat. "Pictures? She showed you fake pictures?" "We thought we were helping family," Robert said, his voice hard. "We've given Vanessa over $200,000 in the past year. All of it supposedly to help you, Lucille, either directly or indirectly by supporting Marcus so he could send money your way." "200,000? Marcus's voice cracked. Diana pulled out her phone. "I think you should see this." She showed them the Henderson and Associates website, where my profile was prominently displayed. Lucille Barrett, Chief Financial Officer, 28 years with the company. She was featured in Financial Times last month for excellence in corporate accounting. Patricia's teacup crashed to the floor. We confronted Vanessa that evening. Marcus had called her, saying we needed a family meeting. She arrived at my condo looking smug. "Lucille, Marcus, what's this about?" "I'm very busy," she said, setting down her designer handbag. "Sit down, Vanessa," Marcus said coldly. "Excuse me?" "I said sit down." She sat, suddenly wary. "What's going on?" I walked to stand in front of her. "Why did you tell your parents I was unemployed?" Her face went white, then red. I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie. We just came from your parents' house. They told us everything." "Everything?" she squeaked. Marcus leaned against the wall, arms crossed. $200,000, Vanessa. You stole $200,000 from your own parents by lying about my mother." "I didn't steal anything. They gave that money willingly." "Under false pretenses," Diana interjected from the doorway. "That's called fraud." Vanessa's eyes darted around the room like a trapped animal. "Okay, look, maybe I exaggerated a little about Lucille's situation." "Exaggerated?" I said, my voice dangerously quiet. "You told them I was destitute. You showed them fake photos of where I supposedly lived. You manipulated them into giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars. They have money to spare. They're rich. We didn't need anything," Marcus said, his voice breaking. "I make 6 figures. We were fine. You're just greedy." Vanessa stood up abruptly. "You don't understand. I deserve that money. Growing up with parents who have everything but give you nothing. I earned it." "By destroying my reputation? By making people think I'm a failure?" I stepped closer. "Your parents think I'm a charity case. They called my son this morning offering to set up a fund for me. Do you understand how humiliating that is? So what? You're fine. You're rich. It doesn't matter." It matters to me. It matters that you used my name, my reputation, my life as a tool for your greed. Vanessa's face twisted. Fine! Yes, I lied. What are you going to do about it? Sue me? That'll really help your precious reputation when everyone finds out your son's wife had to scam people because you're such a cold, withholding mother-in-law. I've never withheld anything from you, I said steadily. You withheld approval, respect. You always looked at me like I wasn't good enough for Marcus. Well, guess what? I found a way to get what I deserved. Marcus moved forward. Van, stop. Just stop. No, I'm not going to let her ruin this. My parents gave me that money because they love me. They gave you that money because you lied, Diana said. And now they know the truth. They've already contacted their attorney. Vanessa spun to face her. Who even are you? I'm the person who's going to make sure everyone knows exactly what you did. I'm compiling evidence right now. Bank records, text messages, those fake photos you showed your parents. All of it. You can't prove anything. Actually, your parents saved everything. Every text message where you lied about Lucille. Every phone call they recorded asking about her welfare. Every bank transfer with notes about helping poor Lucille. Vanessa's face contorted with rage. You're all going to regret this. I'll tell everyone that you're trying to destroy me. I'll ruin you, Lucille. I'll call your work. I'll tell everyone you're a fraud. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are. Are you threatening me? I asked calmly. I'm promising you. Cross me and I'll destroy your career. I'll post lies online. I'll make sure your name is mud in this city. Marcus grabbed her arm. Vanessa, stop. You're making it worse. She shook him off violently. Get away from me. You're just like her. Both of you think you're so much better than me. Well, you're not. I'll show everyone. Diana held up her phone. I'm recording this, by the way. Threats of defamation, slander, and harassment. That's going straight to the police. Vanessa's mouth opened and closed. Then she grabbed her bag and stormed toward the door. You haven't heard the last from me. None of you have. The door slammed behind her. Marcus sank into a chair. What do we do now? I sat beside him. Now we make sure she faces consequences. The next week moved quickly. Patricia and Robert filed a civil fraud complaint. Their attorney, Margaret Chen, called me directly. Miss Barrett, your reputation has been damaged. Your son's in-laws want to pursue this fully, but we need your cooperation. You have it. Completely. The preliminary hearing was swift. Vanessa sat with her public defender, looking diminished. Marcus sat beside me, having filed for divorce the day after the confrontation. Margaret presented the evidence methodically. Bank records showing $200,000 in transfers. Text messages where Vanessa detailed my supposed financial ruin. The fake photos. Recordings of her threats. The judge reviewed everything carefully. Miss Walker, do you dispute any of this evidence? Vanessa's lawyer whispered to her. She shook her head. No, Your Honor. The court orders you to repay the full amount of $200,000 to Robert and Patricia Walker. You will issue a formal written apology to Lucille Barrett, explaining your lies. This apology will be distributed to everyone you contacted with false information. You will complete 200 hours of community service and attend mandatory counseling. Finally, you are ordered to cease all contact with Miss Barrett unless she initiates it. Any violation will result in criminal charges. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor, Vanessa whispered. Outside the courtroom, Patricia approached me. Lucille, I am so deeply sorry. You were manipulated by someone you trusted. That's not your fault. 2 weeks later, Vanessa called me. I answered on speakerphone with Diana present as a witness. Lucille, I know I messed up. I've been thinking and I realize now how wrong I was. Can we please meet? I want to apologize properly. I want to make amends. You've already apologized in the written statement the court ordered. There's nothing more to say. But that wasn't from my heart. Please, I've lost everything. Don't I deserve a second chance? Vanessa, you had countless chances to tell the truth. Every day you continued the lie was another chance you chose not to take. You made your decisions, and now you're living with the consequences. So that's it? You're just going to cut me out completely? The court has outlined what you need to do. Follow those orders. Get help. But don't contact me again. There's no reconciliation to be had here, Vanessa. I ended the call. Diana squeezed my hand. You handled that perfectly. 3 months later, Marcus stopped by my office for our weekly lunch. How are you doing, really? I asked. Better. I thought I'd lost everything when my marriage ended. But actually, I just lost the weight of someone else's lies. I'm proud of you for standing up for what was right. I learned it from you, Mom. You didn't back down. That evening, I met Diana and Patricia for dinner. We'd become friends through this ordeal. To the truth, Patricia raised her glass. To the truth, Diana and I echoed. As I drove home, I reflected on everything. Vanessa had tried to make me small, to reduce me to a lie. But the truth had its own power. My reputation was restored. My relationships were stronger. Some betrayals are too calculated to be excused. Moving forward doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it just means refusing to carry someone else's weight anymore.